Hi there, Scott Barker. Just wanted to reach out to you real quick today to talk about what are some things that you need to think about when you're looking to hire a real estate agent. Last year, about 9 out of 10 buyers and sellers ended up hiring an agent, and it is a decision that people are making all the time. So sometimes they make these decisions just based on past, non-real estate relationships that they have with people, and some other folks are a little bit more thorough with the process. But I at least wanted to throw out, what are some tips and some things that you should talk about with the agent that you're considering before you actually commit to working with them. So, probably the biggest concern and the biggest challenge that I've heard from new clients about, what the issues were in dealing with previous agents is that those previous agents weren't very good at communicating. They didn't communicate often enough. The client didn't know what was going on throughout the process. They didn't know what they had to do. So I think, diving into what that agent does to communicate, how they communicate, how often they communicate, at what points in the contract, in the transaction they're going to communicate. I think that's a really big key. I think the next thing is, what is their philosophy? Are they relationship based or are they transaction based? And what I mean by that is, are they there to invest in you throughout the process, or are they more so just looking at, getting another deal closed and moving on to the next transaction? I think one indication of this would be, how willing are they to get together with me to teach me about the process? Are they willing to go out for a cup of coffee or dinner or something like that and talk about the process, talk about strategy, talk about what they can expect in buying a home and those sorts of things. Folks that are more transaction based are probably less likely to spend that one-on-one time with you early in the process. So for us, we love doing that. We love going out. We love sitting down with people and just educating them, and talking about real estate, and figure out, how we can best help them throughout the process. So it's not, even if you're looking at purchasing a home maybe a year from now or 18 months from now, we're still happy to sit down with you and meet with you and find a way to educate you and get you ready for when that day does come. So, I think that the philosophy is certainly something that you need to look into. And then the last thing, which may seem a little obvious, but believe it or not, a lot of home buyers and sellers don't dive into this deeply enough, is, what is the agent's experience? What's their track record? And when I talk about experience, in most industries, experience means how many years have you been doing it? Well, in the real estate industry, you could be a real estate agent for 50 years and not even sell a house. So when I talk about experience in real estate, I'm not talking about how many years. I'm talking about, let's look at the last 12 months. How many homes have you sold in the last 12 months? How many of those were listings? How many of those were buyers? If you were looking to list a home with this agent, tell me about some of the statistics. How many days were the homes you've recently sold on the market versus, in comparison to what the average days on market was, in that area. For example, if you were in Denver and you had somebody sit down with you and they said that their days on market was, 90 days and things are selling, very quickly here in less than 30 days, well, then you might want to dive into that. Why are you so far, why were these homes on the market for so long when the rest of the market was on fire? So really diving into those. Another thing that you could consider in conjunction with that is, what is their, sales price to list price ratio? And for me, a lot of agents will tell you, oh, my average is this, or oh, my average is this. Well, you need to, number one, dive in. Well, average over how long? Is that over the last 12 months? Is that, the last 10 years? And then if you have the opportunity, even diving into, well, let me just take a look at your transactions and see, how many of those transactions were, above list price or below list price. Did you have one that was 20% above list, and 10 that were at 95% that are kind of creating kind of a false average there? I'm more of a numbers guy, so I'd love to dig into the detail and just fully understand what are the results that are consistently being brought by the agent. So and then obviously the last thing that can also play into all of this is what is their marketing strategy? What's their plan? What do they do to get you the most money with the best terms, and with meeting your goals with what you'd like to be doing with that transition? These are all things that you should think about when you're thinking about listing a home. On the buyer side, how many offers did they have to write before they were successful with a given client? What price range do they work in? I mean, if you were to hire somebody that works in on average an $800,000 price range, well, how many, and you're looking to buy a home that's $300,000, well, how successful are they going to be in that, that competitive of a market? Here in Denver, under 350 or under 400, it's very competitive. And what do they do to, make your offer stand out and help you win in those negotiations? So those are some good questions to talk with them about. And then obviously the other thing is, once a house gets under contract, how many of those deals have fallen apart before closing? So being able to bulletproof a transaction and make sure that it goes to closing, that's also something that you should think about as well. And then, if somebody's full-time and active and is doing a good job and has a good track record, they should have a pretty good reputation. There should be, some testimonials out there. Certainly, if they've got clients that you can call and those sorts of things, those are also great ideas. Just to vet them out a little bit more, make sure that you're committing to somebody that's going to take really great care of you. So anyway, if you have any questions, if you'd like to talk with us about this more, or get some information about how we fall into place with some of these metrics, or if you're just curious about buying or selling a home or an investment property, feel free to give us a call. We'd love to talk with you. Have a great day.